Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, I am Love Kit. We are doing an interview with Xmilitaryman. He has been all over Twitch and has been semi-blowing up. So he's been streaming for about a year and we're gonna ask him some questions. And there's actually a very, very big reason why I wanted to interview him. So hang out, check it out, let's see what we have. I know exactly how you got into streaming, but how did you get into streaming and why did you choose Twitch?
Oh man, honestly, I think I actually started with a group of guys initially, and I thought that the stuff that we said all the time was pretty funny. I didn't realize that streaming was going to be a lot harder when we first started. I thought it was just going to be like you start the play button and then people would just start following you and you get viewers, and that was as simple as it was. I didn't start to take it really that seriously until about probably month 5. Because I didn't really know what I was doing in the beginning. So I would say month 5 is when I really started to change how I looked at streaming completely. But I wanted to do it just to supplement income. I wanted to try to see if what we said was good enough to actually be put on air, if that makes sense. So,
Yeah.
What we were doing. So that's how it started off. And then it completely changed about 5 months in.
Oh my God. So if I don't ask this question, I swear to God, he's gonna like spaz out and end up DMing me and act like a little pick me girl. So who is your idol and why did you say Sideburns?
Oh man, honestly, you have to give him some credit. You have to give him some credit though. I will say that he kind of broke me out of my shell watching him stream. The stuff he does, he's willing to sit there and put himself out there completely, which is something I've never was able to do until I started watching him. So I have to give him a little bit of credit on that. That was something that kind of helped me break out of my shell a little bit more. So I think it was definitely necessary for me to see him streaming.
Oh yeah, I get that completely because I remember so those that don't know, the whole reason why I actually started doing these interviews was because I had a one-on-one with Millie because I kept having plateaus. And I was like, I don't understand these plateaus. I'm always trying to come out with new stuff, trying to get people interactive and stuff. And you can, say whatever you need to say about our conversation as well. And
yeah.
We talked very much about the things that I do. He says there's absolutely nothing wrong with your streams, which made me feel like, yes. But because I was doing the same thing over and over and over, I really was not going into different communities much more than what my comfort zone was. He mentioned start doing interviews. So question as an outsider looking in, since I've started doing interviews, have you seen a difference?
Personally, yeah. I think I've seen a lot, huge growth on your end. I feel like you've feel like you're a lot more confident now, which is something that I think that maybe you kind of needed for yourself. Maybe that's just my assumption. It seems like you're a lot more confident going into these things. Like obviously, I think when we talked about you doing interviews, either you conducting them or even just getting them done by someone. I remember you telling me you were very nervous about doing them, and you seem very natural doing it now. It seems like you've kind of broken out of your own shell a little bit more than you already are, because I think you're already a really good content creator. So, I think that was something that you probably just maybe needed a little bit more of an ego boost for yourself, honestly.
Right. And I think that's one thing that every creator goes through is that we all lack confidence at the beginning. Like, I'm sure you went through it as well. Every creator goes through it. Like, there's something that makes them very insecure starting out, whether it be talking to nobody, talking to strangers, looking into a camera, or what, we've all dealt with it. And this was something that I definitely needed to get myself together. So I want to tell you thank you because you have helped me out a lot.
Thank you.
Side has helped me out a lot. And I don't think he understands that, his entire outgoing personality, I would consider myself outgoing, but he takes it to a whole different level. And being part of the whole scene that we're all in and being part of both of these communities, thank you. I'm glad I felt so welcomed into both y'all's communities. Because like I said, they're both, one's far this way, one's far that way. And I feel like I'm right dab in the middle. So that was me just telling you thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Thank you.
So one of the reasons why I wanted to interview is because me and you have something very particular in common. Very particular. We're both parents. And we're both trying to make this something as a parent. Do you find that hard?
Extremely hard.
Do you think that us as parents have it worse than people that don't have kids?
I think the work-life balance, I think overall as a parent, it's very difficult because you start to see, even when you're starting to see yourself on an uptick, reality from parenthood really hits hard because it's almost like you have to stop and go, stop and go, stop and go so often. And there's times where you really just want to go and you
Yes.
can't because you obviously have other responsibilities. I think one of the biggest struggles is navigating parenthood with, because I have 3 kids. So,
He's a
and
bird.
they need my attention. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
need my attention. They need, I work full time too. So, I want to say when I first started, I was I was kind of overloading myself a little bit too much. I was doing really long streams in the beginning, like I would literally, I think I was working for 3 months. I was working like 70 hours a week plus streaming on top of that. I was doing about 35 hours of streaming as well. So like I was pretty much like overloading myself completely for 3 months straight and got really sick because I wasn't taking care of myself. Almost went into a diabetic coma because I was drinking about like 5 energy drinks a night plus like sodas plus candy to keep myself up during the day and at night.
Oh
So
no.
like I actually when I say like I pushed myself to the limit, I was probably about 30 pounds overweight. Yeah, I'm dead serious. Like I worked it all off just recently, but I mean like were you
Were you
drinking
drinking
balls? No.
balls?
No, no, no. I was drinking dude, I was drinking probably I was drinking Death Wish coffee, probably at least 4 coffees a night. But like I said, about minimum of 4 energy drinks at night. That's not even including what I had during the day because I had to stay up at work and then working and streaming 7 days. I was streaming 7 days a week. I had no
No.
days off.
That is my biggest pet peeve as a like from a streamer. Now I know everybody's got different perspectives, but for me, me and you, we see this stuff very similar. We see this as a business. We see it
Yeah.
as like a bigger picture than just us playing video games with people. We see this more as this is a brand for us.
Yeah.
And one thing that I have learned over the years, like you've only been streaming for a year, right?
Yeah.
So I've been doing this for 7. And one thing I have learned during this time was you remember when 2020 hit and COVID hit and the high demand for toilet paper
Yeah.
happened and like everybody was going nuts and it got so bad that people were posting on Facebook and socials about where the toilet paper is and you would see everybody flock to this place. I see myself as the toilet paper of 2020. What I mean
I
by
see what
that
you're
is
saying.
supply and demand. You are the product the consumers are demanding you. If you constantly put yourself out there as often as you can, people are never going to like stick with you as much because they can catch you tomorrow. You know what I mean? So I always tell people limit how much you go live.
Yeah.
Don't go every day of the week. There's no point in that. But yeah, that's kind of what I do. So,
I agree.
what is the ages of your kids if you don't mind me asking?
3, 8, and 10.
3, 8, and 10. So I got close to 2 of those ages. I have a 5-year-old and I have an 11-year-old. Do they bother you while you're streaming? And I say bother, he knows what I mean, guys. I don't mean that we're actually being bugged. They just constantly they're right here. They're right
Yeah,
here.
they're allowed to come in whenever they want. I don't limit them at all unless I'm doing like an interview or I'm doing something about like when I'm talking with someone serious. Like obviously when I worked with your narrator, that was one of those days where it had to be a day where I had to keep my door shut and they couldn't come in. I mean, it
Right.
was one of those opportunities you don't get very often. And when I was able to work with him, it was like, it was only gonna be for 2 hours. So I really had to like make sure that was just a really really quick meeting and that was it. You know what I mean? Like quick turnaround. So they couldn't go in during that time, but 90% of my other streams they're allowed to come in whenever they want. You'll see them filtering in and running in all the time, and
Same.
that's what they normally do on a regular basis. But I don't leave the door locked with them at all while I'm streaming. They're allowed to come in whenever they want.
I don't even have a door. I have a baby gate that we have a rule that when a baby gate is shut, they can't come in right now. So my 5-year-old would literally sit at the baby gate and going, "Mom, mom, mom." The entire time. If anybody's been in my stream, y'all know what I'm talking about. We literally have to be like, "Yes, Liam." And he goes, "I love you," and then walks away. I'm like, Okay, thanks. So I get that. I really do. Do you see anything like as a challenge between parent streamers versus non-parent streamers? Like, do you see something that you feel people need to learn the difference of? Like, trying to figure out the best way to like ask this question. So please forgive me if I'm not asking it
No,
correctly.
no, no, no. Go ahead.
Do you think people should be more accepting of parent streamers over streamers that are, early 20s, just out of college kind of thing? Do you feel like they're accepting?
I feel like it's for me. I admire it a lot because I don't feel like it's an easy thing to do. Because
Yeah.
like I've had to end streams early because it's something that's going on with my kids. I've had to like make streams later. Like a lot of times when everybody's wondering why I'm starting my stream really late. I mean, a lot of times it's because my kids go to bed at a certain time or they're up sometimes late. But if they do, they're like I only get so much time between when I get home because I work 14 hours a day at work. Then I go to streaming. You guys see me on streaming like a few hours later. I mean, but in between that time, if I'm starting really late, it's because I'm dedicating more time to my kids. So that's typically why I start at later times is because of my kids.
I love that. I really do love that. I'm watching chat go nuts right now. In streaming, what is something that you see a lot of people messing up as small streamers growing? Because you didn't just start out like you never dealt with the whole like 0, 1 viewer. You went like within a year, you went up there to in the 20s real quick.
Yeah.
So what would you say is the difference between you and other people that maybe you're doing different that small streamers should take into consideration?
A lot. I think in the beginning, I was making the same mistakes other smaller streamers were doing. I think the biggest thing I think that we don't do as a streaming community, as streamers, is collaborate enough. I think doing things like this, bringing communities together, I think showing that you're someone that you want to be someone that you like people want to work with. I mean, the only reason I was able to get the opportunities I've gotten so far is because people see me as someone they can work with. And being someone that can, I guess, be easy to work with as well. Because normally when you're a streamer, you're a one-man show
Yeah.
and you're doing it based on your community. Being able to adapt to other streamers is extremely difficult because if I go into Sideburn stream, I know I'm adapting to his community and his big personality. Now I can either try to match his personality and try to over compensate for that big personality that you're dealing with, or I can sit there and just take the lower road and just be okay with doing it the way he's doing things and just kind of doing it. More emulating it as opposed to matching his craziness. You know what I mean? So I think other like when I worked with the Raven Armed, that was another. He's a partner streamer. So instead of me just taking like a backseat approach with him, I worked with him along by doing cosplay because he does cosplay all the time. So instead of me being like his first mate, I was my own captain, but I also was Captain Barbosa. So I dressed up in the whole get up as Captain Barbosa.
Someone asked in chat, what's your hardest cosplay?
Shoot, man, I'm trying to do a Spider-Man cosplay. I'm trying to do a
You gonna
Spider-Man.
make it skin tight?
I mean, I got to get in shape for it. That's the problem. That's like, you have to like, I had to get super like thin for that. You know what I mean? And when I was 30 pounds overweight, you know what I mean? I'm like trying to get like, I lost 30 pounds in the last last few months. But you know what I mean? Like it is difficult trying to get to that point. You know what I mean? Like that's one I'm trying to do. But the hardest one is probably the Barbosa one. That one was a lot, because I wore a wig and all that. I had like the whole get up. It was freaking ridiculous.
How do you handle trolls and negative comments in your chat?
I mean, for the most part, as long as it's not geared towards my followers, if people want to rag on me, I really don't care. You know what I mean? Like literally, I'm pretty resilient to most of that crap. I was in the military for 8 years, so I mean,
Yeah.
that stuff doesn't bother me generally. But when it goes too far, when they start making fun of the followers, they start fighting with all the people that have been supporting me, that's when I have a problem with it. And that's when I tend to deal with it, or I'll block them or whatever. But I mean, like, for the most part, I mean, I'm pretty, it's pretty, yeah. Like, for instance, in my Discord, we made a safe side place so that Sideburns can't speak in there.
That is hilarious. And I go in there from time to time and read some of the shit that's being said. And what's hilarious about this Discord is the people that are in it knowing he cannot see None of this. Everybody tags him into this Discord. They
all
at him
they say good morning.
constantly.
The chat loves it. Like everybody, like honestly, it brought our community together. You know, they could talk crap about him the whole entire time, like literally all day. I think Smug probably chats in there the most. Ari, they all chat on there a lot, and it's really great. We made it for them. You know what I mean? It was for his mods actually first, because it was more for like the moderators of his to sit there and, you know, get a break from him. So it was a nice way to kind of like, man, he's such a hater sometimes.
So who's the better Fortnite player? You or Sideburns?
So I got this character that he copied me on. We have the same exact character that he uses because he loves me so much. I don't understand why he is obsessed with using my character. My character has a cape though. His doesn't. So mine's cooler just because I have a cape on mine.
I know that y'all can't see what's going on in chat, but Side is flipping out right now, and I'm loving this. What would you say is the most important part of a streamer? Who is the people, like, do you think it's the people that follow the streamer, or do you think it's the people that it's like security for the streamer in the chat?
Well, I will say that we had an incident where someone got upset in Tarkov. This is the first, so I've never experienced like followers protecting the streamer before until one time. One time, a guy that I killed in Tarkov got upset because he was being really loud. He thought I was camping. He was just being really loud. I killed him, and he's a TikToker. And he's a DJ. He had like 5,000 followers on TikTok, something like that. He came in my chat talking a lot of trash. I did not expect the 20 something people that were watching me. I think it got up to like 30 at that point because people started flipping out. Because generally in my chat, I'm very nice to everybody, regardless of like the stuff that we talk about with me and Sai and stuff like that, you know, generally. Yeah. But I will say that was the first time I've seen my chat come to the rescue of me, which normally I'm, you know, I wasn't expecting that. It pissed everybody off. I did not expect everybody to get like so pissed off at this guy. You know what I mean? And it got crazy. Like he was because he threatened me with his followers or something like that, like while I was streaming, because he was that upset about me killing him. And everybody, the whole chat just like would not stop talking about it for like an hour.
Oops. So it's good to have that support from your community. It's like you don't really got to do much when it comes to security. You've got your community, you've got your mods, and everything along that. So Side asked a question. He goes, I have a question for me. How do you differ an approach with interviews bigger streamers like Millie compared to someone smaller? I don't differ them. And the reason why is because I don't look at people differently. And I'm going to just say it like this. Dolly is a partner streamer and she hangs out with me all the time. We literally talk on a daily basis. She's one of my best friends. She is part of the Wives Club. So I take care of her and she takes care of me. It's kind of like a girl oath that we kind of have. I treat her the exact same way I treat somebody who has never streamed a day in their life. I don't treat anybody any different because I was raised in a way that you shake hands with the custodian in your school just like you would shake the hands of your principal in your school. That's how I was raised. So I don't differ people. We're all humans. So just to answer that, if you treat people differently based on status, it's usually because you subconsciously want to benefit from their status. Boom. I like that. I like the way that's worded, yes. How do you come up with your ideas for stream content?
I kind of have like a brain trust. So generally, because I network with so many different streamers, big or smaller, I do have a core group of people I talk to and get ideas from. And I always bounce ideas off. Like, for instance, I think I've kind of told you this, me, Lipsy, and Cyburns. Generally, we have a very similar approach just to how we think about streaming. And so we kind of get in a little creators group once a month. Every once in a while, we'll talk about things. Sometimes depending on like sometimes I'll get like Sparky, Saxy, and like I have a editing team. I have a graphics team. I have my community manager, and I pay them monthly to sit there and take care of my stream as well. So I have a team I rely on. You know what I mean? Because again, I understand it's a one-man show. I understand that. And then I also ask my community as well. So I do multiple different things to try different things. If they want to play a game with me, I'll sit there and look into games to sit there and play with them. If they want to sit there and, you know, I take multiple approaches to it because I feel like doing the same thing and expecting different results isn't going to work. You can't expect to do the same thing every single day and then expect to grow from it, because that's not going to always. You can't stay stagnant in your content creating.
Right. Re-ask this question differently. How do you vary questions, tailor questions based on statuses of the streamer you are interviewing? This one here, I'm just kind of winging it. Like I even told Millie, I said I don't have any questions really written down that's specifically for him. I knew some things that I did want to discuss, which was him as a parent and streaming. And then there's other things that we just kind of just figure it all out along the way. And I kind of let chat kind of guide us a little bit, because at the end of the day, I know Millie. I know the kind of person he is. And this is also a way for y'all to understand who he is. What are some of the most effective strategies you've used to grow your Twitch channel?
So there's a couple things you could do that I think I tell a lot of newer streamers to do if they want to capitalize on certain things. Now, again, these are just different ways to do things. Now, advertising for yourself is big. I think me and you talked about that a little bit. Advertising for the games that you're going to play. Like if you're going to play a new game, I think that you should advertise. If you're going to sit there and do a collaboration with someone, you need to advertise it. I think even just playing a new game in general, or something that's trending, you definitely need to play it the day of and be the first to play it, and then post content on it as soon as possible.
I agree
Interviewing,
with that.
I felt like that was very good. So prior to QuakeCon, my content suffered really badly for it. So the last 2 months, I had a dip. Something that Cyburns pointed out, but there was a reason why because of it. I did 6 interviews 1 month and 4 interviews the prior month. So it really took a toll on my stuff, but it was in preparation for QuakeCon. Now, QuakeCon, I wanted to do something intentionally when I'm going to go talk to sponsors and I give them my Instagram. I have tons of advertisements for interviews over and over and over and over again. Something that I did to sound more important is when they sit there and they're reading my stuff, they're asking, why are all these people interviewing you? And it's like that gets the engagement going. So it has nothing to do with numbers. It has nothing to do with anything else. But you want to seem like they want to know why you're important to talk to. Secondly, it's like it definitely boosts your status just a little bit especially when you're working as a smaller streamer and you're not partner.
Right.
I mean, like even the Raven Armed, why would he want to work with me? You mean why would the narrator want to work with me? Those are 2 big streamers. You know, narrator has 2.5 million people subscribed to him on YouTube. Raven Armed has 7,000 followers, and he's partner streamer. He gets an average of 100 people in his stream every month. You know what I mean? Like you have to be noticed by these people, and you have to do it a specific way. It is not easy to do as a smaller content creator. It is not. You know what I mean? It's very, luckily both these guys are very nice people in general, so they're willing to work with me.
I do know
But,
Raven is absolutely a sweetheart. I see Love Kid in the Raven Arm streams and chuckle. Dude, I would love to interview him. I think he would be fun to interview. But I think that I'm a little too much for him, because I've noticed that he is very strict on things that are said in his chats. So I'm going to have to, if I ever get to that point, I'm going to have to like really pull it back for him.
Yeah.
And I respect
I understand that. He's a good guy. Honestly, he sent me a flag too, which is pretty cool. He sent me this actually in the mail. I have to take a picture with it. He signed it and everything for me. So
look at him thinking he's a big shot, signing shit and sending it to people.
Yeah, we don't know. Honestly, like I say, he's one of the nice. Like we've talked off stream and stuff like that too. And I think he's gonna want to work with me again. It was a really easy transition, smooth transition to work with him. But that's why. But I'm pretty fearless when it comes to asking people for collaborations. I don't care if they're sponsored or not. I mean, I open it up to pretty much anybody. The one thing I'll sit there and say that I do like to see, though, when someone, even just smaller or even a larger streamer, is the work ethic. I mean, I'm big on people showing me that they're actually trying, that they're staying consistent with their streaming. And that's one of the hardest things I would say. That there were times where I would say, like, I've never gotten streamer burnout, which I think that's a thing that a lot of people can get. I've never been burned out from streaming before. And the reason why is because my job is extremely difficult in general. Like I could literally die any day doing my job. That's just kind of like, if I find an explosive one day, guess what? You know what I mean? I won't be here the next day. I mean, and that's just the reality of it. You know what I mean? So my, I guess, titration level on life in terms of like what I can handle is very high compared to most other people. So I will say for me personally, I don't think I can really get to a point where I'm gonna quit for something like that, if that makes sense.
No, it definitely makes sense. My community yells at me quite often because I don't quit. I'm constantly going. I'm always they literally my Discord goes off all day long because it's secondhand posting all over the place. So it automatically alerts my Discord every single place that I'm posting. And I told them, all right, Tuesday I'm not going to stream because I'm just going to take a day just to. I did have to take a break during the subathon. I was live for 5 hours or 5 days straight.
Oh my
Straight.
gosh, dude.
I slept on camera. I literally had a
Uh,
mod come in just so that I can go take a shower. Like, and I was only gone for 15 minutes of that. I literally showered, got dressed, came back down. I ate on
that's
camera. Yeah. I don't want to do that full time because 5 days is painful. It was by the end of it, I think I was a robot.
when I think that when I went through that 3 month stint of working 70 hours a week and streaming 35 hours a day and then almost dying of a diabetic coma. Yeah, that would I would say like 2 days later I was still streaming. You know what I mean? Like I know it sounds because I was in the hospital, I got hospitalized and all that fun stuff. But yeah, 2 days after I got out of the hospital, I was streaming and going back at it again. That's where I actually came up with the stream or die motto. It was like a joke. It was a joke, and I kept on saying it. Like, I think my first day back, I came back and said, everybody's like, "Why are you back? Well, you should be taking a break." And I said, "Well, stream or die, guys, stream or die." And it was kind of like a joke, but then that's what I turned all my merch into. Yeah, see, like, it's like wearing the shirt, stream or die.
I like
So,
that.
that's I know it was a joke, but I actually really, as a streamer, I mean, you can relate to it. It's something I thought was relatable for most streamers. I love it personally, but yeah, no, I mean that's kind of how I started doing that, and that's I try to be an example for everybody else that wants to stream. So because life does, I had like my aunt recently just passed away, my grandmother just passed away this last year, and I
I'm
still kept on
sorry.
streaming. You know what I mean? Like no, life happens. I mean, but you definitely. I try not to let it affect me. I try to be consistent for my followers at least, because at the end of the day, you know what I mean. There, I don't know. You kind of go through different stages in life, and I think a lot of time, I think consistency is the best thing, especially for the people that follow you as well. And that's I try to give that back to the people that sit there and support me and sub for me and do all the things that I need for them and they do for me as well. I think that there's a give and take relationship with those types of things. So I don't know.
I
Personally, I
agree.
think it helps both of us.
I definitely agree with that because I do lean on my community for a lot of stuff. And my mom has found out that she's been diagnosed with skin cancer. And then before that, she has a bleeding disorder or blood disorder, excuse me. And I would tell them, okay, so my mom has a doctor's appointment this day. I'm not going to stream because I'm taking her to the hospital to get this stuff taken care of. And as a creator and a streamer, we literally these are our family. These are our online family. They
Yeah.
become our best friends. Like this is who we tell everything to. We open up to them. So when we have them to kind of lean on during those hard times, we can get through anything because we have their support. It's the ones that want to push back on us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that we're just kind of like, we don't know if you're fit for here, because we are a family at the end of the day. It is a family. That's all what a community is. We're growing a family together, and this is a family that we can pick and choose. So yeah, I definitely lead on my community. I get a good morning from every single body in my Discord, and I love it. I
Yeah,
love
well,
that.
I think we do that too. I think we're pretty. I try to stay pretty active in my stuff. I mean, I would say probably the last 2 months have probably been a little harder just for me. A few of the guys know what I'm going through, and just in general. But I mean, but for the most part, like I said, like I even have like I think I've told you I have a event section for people to talk about the issues they want to talk about that I haven't been getting to as much. But luckily I have a really good support system with my mods, especially who's tend to sit there and respond quite actively for me, especially when I'm not able to do it. So I think having the support system, the mod support system, plus your follower support system, I think all that, all works well together in general.
How important is it for your mods to be supportive with everything that you do? And be
I think it's extremely important. I mean, I will say I'm probably more lax in terms of with my mods. I don't expect a lot from them personally, but like, obviously I wanted one really good mod, and that was with me a lot. So I hired Saxy to be my full-time mod, I should say. So she gets paid to do what she does.
I got one of those
So
too. I took that
yeah,
idea from you. And
thank you.
I even gave it a twist for my mods. Like, not only do I have Jacola, who is my assistant, he's on a different level than anybody else. If something's broken, I go, Jacola, can you fix this? I have never seen anybody jump on anything that I've ever said as direction. And he just jumps right on it, and like within a minute he goes, okay, it's fixed. I'm like, what the hell, man? Like, you could have waited till tomorrow, but I mean, thank you.
That's
And yeah,
literally Sparkle Cat for me.
yeah, and
And Saxy.
he gets paid, and then I also started doing a monthly bonus for top mod, whichever mod that's like putting forth
Ooh, I
the
like
most
that.
effort, they get a bonus. So that it's they're not working for free, but they got to work for it. Obviously, Sweet Daddy Lou is not going to be in on that one because he has to hear me bitch all the time because I'm his wife. However,
Sorry,
he
Lou.
knows more about what's going on behind the scenes than anybody. The next 5 things you haven't asked me to do yet should also be fixed. Yeah, pretty much. This is bullshit. There he is. There he is. We had a question. What are 5 tips when people start streaming? What would you say 5 tips are?
Consistency is probably the biggest one, which is the one that's the hardest,
Yes.
in my opinion.
Keep that drive.
Man, 5 tips. I have a lot. I say so many. Active in chat. Talk even if no one's there. Just try to just talk about what you're doing. Talk as much as you can. Try to be as welcoming as possible when someone does follow. Engagement's a really important one.
Consistency means almost like if you work Monday through Friday and your job is from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m., you are consistently going to that job, which means you make it there no matter what. You are there putting in the work. That's consistency. So if you decide to create a schedule for streaming 3-4 days a week, and you are making sure that you stick to those days that you have decided on, that's you being consistent. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you and change.
No. Trust me. No, he said he's Dutch, so yeah. No. So like I would say consistency, engagement. I wrote a lot of these things down too. I have like a thing for it. Consistency, engagement. Let me think. I don't know. Like normally I just kind of answer because I do a lot of streamer help questions. So like a lot of baby streamers will come to me and ask me for help. Your Twitch page, you know what I mean? Like make sure you're the one thing I always told people is emulate what the bigger streamers are doing. So that means that you're going to have to sit there and make sure your Twitch page is on point. Because if you figured out how to put the donation button up, you can easily figure out how to put panels up. You can easily figure out how to put all the rest of stuff done. Like I have a channel trailer. I have a background that's professionally done. I have professionally done graphics for everything. You know what I mean? Like if you're not emulating what the bigger streamers are doing, if you're not emulating trying to be yourself, but your own person amongst the sea of other, purple streamers, you know what I mean? You've got to stand out somehow. You have to, you know what I mean? But do it your own way.
Exactly.
So, I mean, like making sure that your page is, I think I even told you, I go a step further and I have a website. You know what I mean? I have a merch, my merch store is specific to me. Like I came up with my own saying. I came up with, I came up with so many different things. So I have multiple levels of things that I'm doing than other streamers are doing, or at least trying to be just that person that stands out as professional as I possibly can be. So that's one thing I would sit there and say, to do the best thing you can, do the best you can with what you've got, but also try to, if you can't, is it Canva? If you can't hire someone to do it, use Canva. You know what I mean? There's other resources.
I'm sorry for interrupting you. I use Canva still today, and I have every single Adobe software, and I've just not learned it all, and I'm still in the process of learning. So yeah,
Dude, that's
Canva is
great.
definitely my go-to thing because I don't understand Adobe yet.
I feel like at this point, with the way technology is, there's no excuses why you shouldn't have panels. There's no excuses why you shouldn't have background. Matter of fact, Twitch even made it even possible for advertisement. So that means advertising on YouTube, Instagram. You should have every single social and promoting yourself on those socials. You know what I mean? There's no excuses. You know what I mean? They Twitch even made it easier for clips to be clipped now, so that way you could go in, start clipping your stuff, and you could immediately post it to TikTok and YouTube Shorts. You know what I mean? Like, there's no excuses why you can't do those things now. Like, there's just none. You know what I mean? And for people that say they can't do it, if you have time to stream, you have time to sit there and make these things happen. You just skip a
Absolutely.
day of not streaming.
Absolutely. So my 5 would be, just like you said, consistency. Learn to have a schedule and stick to it. That's probably, like you said, the hardest. The next one would probably be learning to network without asking for anything
Oh,
in
network,
return.
yeah.
Don't go into someone's stream and like be like, oh my God, I spent all this time with this person. I dropped this much subs and paid this much dono. Why don't they ever hang out with me? It's because you really just, in my opinion, what value? I'm all about the value of somebody. And what I mean by that is when I go to sides stream, the value I get from that is fucking pure laughter. I do. I
Yeah.
get nothing but laughing. I laugh so hard, I have tears rolling down my face. Okay? When I come to your stream, it's wholesome. It's nice. I always know that when I come over there, I'm acknowledged. And so on and so forth. Like, it's being a streamer is more than just streaming video games. It's an emotional connection you have with the person that's streaming, in my opinion. You have to have something that differentiates you from one person to another. Definitely learn to design. It's not hard to do some graphic design, some basic stuff. You can
Yeah.
even go on there and go on Canva and they have pre-made ones. You don't have
Yeah.
to even, and then what you do on that is put that pre-made one, put it up on the screen and learn to break it down some because the layering is something that a lot of people don't understand, but OBS is also layered. It's
Yeah.
very much layered. Learn to network outside of streaming. That's a big one. Like not on Twitch at all. Learn to get to know people on Twitter or X, whichever way you want to call it. I would avoid Facebook groups. 110% I would avoid them because they're all about
follow.
themselves. That's all what they're about. Instagram. Put some TikToks out there. Try to figure out what you can gravel with TikToks. YouTube, like you said, YouTube's a good one. There's a bunch of different ways to get your name out there. It's not just in this one box because Twitch has the worst analytics to get you out there.
Yeah.
It is the worst finding spot. Figure out why people should see you. What's the point of people coming to you? That's a big one.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, who are you to these people? What kind of representation are you putting to these people? Do you have all these cool lights and productions going on? Are you catching your house on fire and nobody else has seen that shit? Or are you somebody who sits there, plays your video game, and ignores every single thing that happens in chat?
Yeah.
Like, there's a wide variety of different ways you can go about that. Oh, by the way, I've been wanting to say this. I appreciate you putting a shirt on for this, by the way. It seems like every single time you and I have ever talked, I literally see man shoulders every time. Guys,
Look,
if y'all
it
don't
is
know,
hot.
he does not like wearing a shirt.
Nope, I don't. I don't care who it is. If we're having a meeting, I don't care if you're a girl or a guy. I'm having my shirt off every single time, especially if it's off stream. I don't care. I do it with Lipsy. I do it with Sideburns. I do it with Saxy. I do it with Sparkle Cat. I do it with everybody. I don't care. I'm always shirtless. That's just the way it's got to be.
The first time they met, he was shirtless. Yes.
That is true.
The first conversation that Millie and I had,
I have no shame.
all I could see, like, I'm sure y'all have seen me in his chat, and I literally said, damn, you got some nice lips. And everybody's thinking I'm talking about this. No, he has lip tattoos right here. So, by the way, guys, there was an inside joke. Everybody was like, oh my God, show feet. I was like, y'all want to see feet? Y'all go to this website. And I typed in onlyfans.com/lovekit as a joke. A joke. Guys, somebody has that username. It's not me on OnlyFans. But you should subscribe. Just saying, make her millions. Go ahead, go for it. But I found it absolutely hilarious. So now what we do is we promote her OnlyFans. Because why not?
Oh man.
Look, I'm not a hater. I am not a hater. I am all for it. $500 for the raw big toe. Hell yeah. That's all what we're about over here. Doesn't mean you have to have your dong out, people. Come on now. OnlyFans is not always about that. Jesus. Are you glad you took on this interview, by the way?
Oh yeah, of course. No, I'm really happy. Honestly, I was really excited about this interview.
Has this been like any other interview you've had?
Yeah, I like that you're going off the script a bit. I like the fact that you're just asking questions as they come along. That's
Yeah.
good.
I try to let chat kind of guide us which direction they want us to go.
I have a couple things in the works that I'm trying to do now that I'm hoping will change things a bit. I can't really say too much, just like because I've been able to show like Saxy and Sparkle Cat kind of like what I'm working on. But there's a few things that are coming out here soon that I'm hoping to get a few people involved that are bigger content creators. So we'll see what happens. We're working on a few things here and there, but I mean, just being able to go to, when I worked with Bethesda just recently, I was actually working the event. I got to meet Ula and a few other people as well, but I got to network with AMD, the CEO of Origin Computers. Me and him were talking, so we're in talks to do something. Bethesda as well, as a whole. I think they all love me at Bethesda, so there's a couple things I'm working on an angle with them as well. I might be getting a few games of Starfield 2 as well for free. So there's some things that I'm working on right now that I'm trying to it's a lot when you're asking for sponsorships, when you're asking for things, you know what I mean, and trying to get people to trust in you with their product. It is very hard. Even me doing the Death Wish thing, they still send me free coffee all the time, but we haven't even had a meeting yet, which is crazy because it's something I still need. I want a sponsorship code, but they're like, I'm their first streamer, and they're pretty much had told me that they're not. They send me free coffee every month, but they're still waiting on a couple things that they're working on just to get to the next part for working with Twitch streamers because they haven't gotten into this realm yet. So I think it comes down to budgeting and all that, how much they're going to be giving, how much they're going to be doing with that. But I mean, I get free coffee anyway, so I'm not really complaining,
Right.
So yeah, that's something that I'm working on right now with them. But I love Death Wish Coffee. I'm glad that they sponsor me. I'm glad that they send me free coffee. It's a really cool thing that they do, and I drink it all the time. I promote their stuff all the time, even though we're not, nothing's actually gone through with it. So I'm happy with it.
Let's see here. Millie, do you have any questions? Anything that you may want to ask? Maybe I might be able to answer something.
Yeah, what's crazy is that I asked you a lot of questions. I mean, we've talked a lot. I mean, how do you feel about your direction with what you're going with your channel? Do you feel like you're comfortable with what you're doing right now? Is there a different path you want to take with your streaming? Or do you want to stay the same? How are you trying to sit there and figure out what your next step is?
I'm a very open-minded person, which you have seen. I will try anything. But I got to stay genuine to who I am. I can't just go way left field and turn into the next ninja. I'm not going to censor myself. I am who I am. And I will definitely, if anybody ever has, hey, you should try this, I will try it. I will try my best to incorporate it. I would definitely I don't know, if you have ideas, let me know. I will try them. I've had somebody say that they mentioned about a smoke machine. I was like, ooh, a smoke machine. We got the bubble machine. We should incorporate the smoke machine. But then it was like, no, I'm not going to take from that person because that person wants to incorporate that in their stream, and I'm not going to do that.
Another question. Who's the next content creator that you want to work with, big or small? Actually, why don't you give me one big streamer that you want to work with, that you really, really want to work with, and one smaller streamer you want to work with?
You're going to laugh at the small one.
I
would like to interview Raven, but I know that I would have to censor myself just a little bit for him, and I respect that. But the small one I would like to interview, I would love to interview Little Small Sideburns.
Even here anymore? I don't even know.
I don't know if he's in here. You know what? If he was in here, he would have been so mad.
Whittle sideburns, yeah.
Whittle sideburns. He would have raged.
Oh my gosh. Okay, if you had a few sponsors that you'd want to work with you and sponsor you, who would they be?
I would like Logitech to sponsor me.
Okay, that's digital. Let's go with liquid.
A liquid. I don't care for foods or drinks from people. I will never work
Really?
with. Yeah, I don't drink energy drinks. I don't drink coffee. Those are the two
Fair
main
enough.
things. And they got the beer company that's also out. I don't work I That's Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew. Okay. I'll work with Mountain Dew. I'm right here. I literally
Cappuccino? Oh,
promote
I would
you.
be down for that. But I'm
Mountain
doing
Dew
coffee right now.
Mountain Dew would be one. So I did tech, liquid. I don't know clothing.
And you said you don't care for foods.
No, I have food allergies, so I'm very weird about like certain foods.
Is that like a gluten-free, super healthy thing that you would want to get free things from?
Do I look like I'm gluten free?
Well, you said you have a food allergy, so I'm assuming that was like, you know what I mean? Like candy corn. Oh my
I
gosh.
eat
The
junk
worst
food.
sponsor in the world is candy corn. Absolute. Oh my gosh. No.
See
No,
here.
dude. No.
I don't even understand these things. Like serving size 15 pieces. Who the hell could only eat 15 pieces of candy corn? We're sitting here shoveling it in our mouth.
Who the hell wants to eat candy corn?
People who actually enjoy it, okay? People that have a soul. Because apparently
See, I'm glad that Hades agrees with me.
allergy friendly company. Watch.
Yeah,
I will
there's
end
a
up
bunch of them.
I would end up allergic to that company. I'm allergic to chlorine. Like I have the most
Well, nobody
weirdest.
drinks chlorine.
I don't drink it, Dingleberry. I swim in it. Jesus. No, okay.
We're talking about food, and like the we're talking about
Note
eating
to self,
food
guys.
allergies.
Don't drink chlorine, please. I don't. Jesus. Wow. No, I'm allergic to pool water. I can only swim in salt water because I have an allergic reaction to it. Jesus, guys.
We're talking about food allergies, and you're like, oh, you're bringing up
I
chlorine.
was telling
and
you
that
I
was just
have
so funny.
weird allergies.
Oh my
How
god!
many people are allergic to
Who's
chlorine?
drinking chlorine? Oh my gosh, that was so funny. Oh man,
Quote added, do not drink chlorine. Dude, that would be, I should add that.
we should have a warning, before your stream. We do not condone drinking chlorine before this interview. I just switched full time to coffee, and that's when I immediately like reached out to them and reached out to them as a sponsor. And it made the most sense because this is all I drink. I need something with high caffeine that isn't going to be an energy drink, and coffee was like the next best thing for me. So I mean, for me personally, I just you go with the products that you use all the time. If you use that product all the time, why not promote it? Why not try to get a discount on it? If I get free coffee all the time because I like coffee and I enjoy coffee, I get free coffee every month. I don't pay for a coffee anymore. To me, making sense to like make your life easier, you mean to not have to pay for something that now you get for free, or even just however many purchases you get a free box of
See,
liquid vape.
I think my whole thing is I don't look at myself as anything else but a nobody still. Like,
You shouldn't do think that though.
but okay, so here's the thing.
I was pretending to be somebody at 800 followers, Love Kit. I was at TwitchCon literally handing out my coin. I had a challenge coin made. I literally was it's all about how you present yourself. I was literally giving these to partners. They're challenge coins as my canine, and my X is the original green color, and then my dog Cooper with the with the 5 branches on it. I was just giving them to partners, and dude, I had
don't
those
have
partners hit
anything
me
like
up.
that.
I feel like so many streamers live on this island of themselves, and it's really good to get off your island every once in a while because you start to not get those fresh ideas. You start to lose traction on what you're trying to get accomplished and figuring out ways. A lot of times we get stuck in these ruts where we're not able to piece everything together, and working with other content creators. Like there's times where I've said something to Sideburns, like when I told him how I have a hierarchy of how I run business, he started adapting the same thing. I mean, because I need to do something, I do it a certain way and it works really well. If we're missing certain like holes in our pyramid to growing, and if I'm doing something to kind of fill in that hole that you needed, you're gonna grow a stronger stream overall. That's why we have these talks. That's why me and you had these talks initially. Just going over everything. So I mean, I feel like it's extremely important to help each other out. I don't look at anybody as like my own personal competition because we're all so different from each other. At the same time, it's more healthy competition. So to me, it's like I like being able to grow the way I'm doing things just because I think it's the best way of doing it. So I don't know. It's the mod thing is definitely interesting concept. I mean, your mods got to meet me the other day, which wasn't. I hope there's no hard feelings there.
Nobody said anything. You're fine. Everybody understood that why, it all came from a good spot, and they understood that why I reached out to you. They knew that I needed insight, and I felt like I was not getting that insight. And I've even spoken to Lizzie about it too, that I need honest feedback. And I'm not saying my mods are not giving that to me, but you got to think about it from a different perspective.
You guys are on the same island as you.
They're on the same island as me. They're gonna keep blowing smoke up my ass until I'm like nothing, because they're those kind of people. They're nice people. They're not gonna say anything that's gonna come across harsh. And I mean that respectfully. If I say, oh my God, I broke my leg on stream, or I threw up in the middle of stream, they're gonna be like, it's okay, it's okay. No, it's not okay. That got clipped 500 times. That's gonna go viral. Not the fact that I did this awesome ass gameplay. Me getting sick in the trash can next to my desk is what's gonna go viral. That's not cool. So that's what I was literally like going back and forth on. And I've reached out to Lizzie, which by the way, apparently I'm really good at YouTube and didn't even think about it. Oh God, the dumbest things go viral. They really do. And now it's really hard. I'm a master. I'm gonna make you say master to me one day. Hey girl. Look,
Oh,
I'm over here just recruiting, guys. That's all I do. I got the most amount of girlfriends here on Twitch. What can I say? I even got an award for it. I want to go to TwitchCon first, and then I want to go to PAX. PAX is on the East Coast, so that's what I want to do. Push yourself to seek out the opportunities, or would you say you're quite natural at it?
Okay, I will say this. I am very natural at talking to people in general, especially on one-on-one encounters. Like when I interview, typically I do really well. I normally, especially in an interview setting, if I can get a one-on-one with you, generally I'm pretty good at talking to people and getting the things I need. And I think that's always something I always had to work on. I was never really good at it always, but I have to push myself. I'd rather just say I tried than say I didn't try. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if you don't try, you're pretty much failing yourself. I feel like if you at least tried, you know what I mean? Like, you never know what the reaction you're going to get. You just sit there and, you know, I don't know. I just feel like I'd rather just be told no than actually just not go at all. You know what I mean? Or not try at all, just because I feel like I'm just going to fail myself.
It's like asking the hot girl out to prom. You don't know what's going to happen if you...
Yeah, I mean, you never know. Shoot your shot. You know what I mean? Like,
she may have just been like, oh my God, my boyfriend just broke up with me. Yes, I'll go to prom with you. Like, ew, gross.
You could be that rebound. You could be that rebound.
Getting laid tonight. No, I'm just kidding. How do you pick people who you interview? Are you asking me, or are you asking Millie?
Who's asking you? I've never interviewed anybody, Hades.
I'm going to be honest with you. I randomly ask people. Like, Millie actually asked me to be interviewed. He goes, I want to be one of your first ones. Well, he was fully booked when I started doing interviews. So I was like, okay, so when will you be available? And then we just kind of went that way. I'm completely booked through September, and I'm about to start opening up for October. So
yeah, I definitely was fully booked the last 2 months because I was prepping for QuakeCon. And again, it was definitely how you present yourself. Dolly, you mentioned something earlier that I really liked. Making yourself seem like you're someone that they want to hire is definitely important. And I think even with my stuff that I did prior to going, I really wanted to make sure I seemed extremely important prior to going to QuakeCon.
What is the best language to stream? I think English, but that's the only language I actually know fluently. I don't bully, I spit facts.
Oh my gosh. I mean, honestly, like I said, running it like a business, running Twitch like a business, I think is really the best way of going about doing this. And that's how I do it.
Small streamer's back.
What did he say?
LOL, Sideburns should be in the Olympics because he always comes first. Being the quickest isn't always the best. Facts. Jeez. Welcome to my stream, guys, where people have no filters.
You made a joke first. Before we switch over to a game, any other questions anybody has